Hello, and welcome to Real Talk Realtor Mama Edition. My name is Samantha. I'm a top real estate agent, entrepreneur, and proud mama of two, here to keep it real about life, business, and everything in between. This is the podcast where we explore challenges and blessings of balancing a thriving career, motherhood, and mental health, all while sharing tips, lessons, and stories to inspire and empower you. Some episodes, I'm joined by incredible guests, experts in finance, motivation, small business owners, and more to bring you insights that'll spark growth and ignite your potential. Sometimes it'll just be me and my strong opinions rambling away, but most importantly, I'm doing this for my own healing and learning and as my way of giving back. If my words or the stories shared here help even one person, then it's worth it to me. So grab your coffee, take a deep breath, and let's dive into today's Real Talk.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Real Talk, Realtor Mama Edition. I think this is episode 8.
Dang.
Episode 8. I know. Joining me today is one of my favorite humans. She's another badass Realtor Mama, Lori Rogers. And if you don't already know Lori or haven't heard of her, she's basically human sunshine. Literally, I call her sunshine because she just radiates positivity, grit, realness, all of the good stuff, all of the stuff that just attracts you to people. And I have fallen in love with her. I've been following her journey on social media for a few years, kind of just like watching from the background, watching you kill it in motherhood, in real estate, wearing all of the other hats, and always with this smile on your face. And I'm just like, I want to meet this girl. Like, eventually, I got to meet this girl. So I don't even remember how we got connected exactly. Social media somehow. We ended up finally meeting up in person, and she was just as lovely as I dreamed her to be. So today we have her joining us, and we're going to be diving into her journey a little bit, talking about a few different topics. But Lori, why don't you introduce yourself? Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, well, thank you so much for that marvelous introduction.
Pulling out the red
I
carpet for you, queen.
Yes, seriously. And obviously I always have to kind of caveat and pivot and say that social media isn't always, the God honest truth 100% of the time, but I do
Mhm.
try and stay positive as much as I can. And yeah, so Lori Rogers, I am right now a single agent realtor with Keller Williams Main Line. I've been in the business 14 years. So I started off with Coldwell Banker, and I joined a team. I was on a team from the fall of 2013 until summer of 2023, so just over 10 years, and went off on my own in the summer of 2023, and here I am, almost summer of 2025.
Killing it. And they
Yeah.
call you the Energizer Bunny.
They
Because
do. The Energizer Bunny, the Energizer Realtor. Yes, it started as a joke. Like right in the beginning of COVID, I want to say. I get asked all the time, do you ever sleep? And I'm like, I do sleep. I actually sleep very well. Like when I go to sleep, I go to sleep. My phone's on silent. Like there's no vibrate. I wake up when my alarm goes off. But if I'm awake, I'm on. Like I'm working, I'm busy. It's not relaxing for me to sit and do nothing. I've never been able to just if I'm watching TV, I got to be doing something with my hands, or I got to be crafting, or I got to be fidgeting with something. So the Energizer Realtor kind of started as like a joke. My brother-in-law put my head on like a Energizer bunny as like clip art. And
it's so
then
great.
yeah, and then I had my logo designer actually like make it into a caricature, change the, battery to say sold instead of Energizer so that maybe I don't get in trouble. But so it just kind of blossomed from there. And now it kind of is a tagline, and I use it on marketing, t-shirts, all the things, so that it kind of is like Lori Rogers, oh, the Energizer Realtor, kind of like hand in hand.
Yes, I love it so much. And like I said, I've just been watching your journey, and you blossom and go from like the team to the solo agent, and wearing all the hats, and then the Energizer Realtor like be born, and it's just been so cool. So some of the topics that I want to cover today, I mean, me and you could talk forever, but we'll see what we can touch on. But
Yeah.
you did mention a little bit already, social media, not all of it's real. So some of what I want to talk about today is just how you've really led with authenticity. Am I saying that
Yeah.
right?
You are.
Um,
Yeah.
it didn't
Yeah.
sound right when I first said it. I feel, which is something that I feel is seriously, is lacking in the world in general, but in real estate too, and like
For
in with
sure.
real estate agents, and just how glorified real estate has been on one aspect. And so we're going to dive into that a little bit. I do want to talk about your journey from, going from a team agent to a solo agent and balancing motherhood and all of the things. But I guess let's start with what first got you started in real estate. Like ha- where'd you come
Yeah.
from? You know what I mean? What was that transition like?
Yeah, so I was actually an early childhood major in college. I knew I wanted to be a kindergarten teacher my whole life. Like that was my passion. I was creative, I was colorful, I loved kids. I loved everything that I did during college. I loved student teaching. But when I graduated in 2009 and I moved back to Pennsylvania because I went to Towson University outside of Baltimore, Maryland, I moved back to Pennsylvania, and in order to get a job in education, you basically had to be like related to a superintendent or a principal. It was like everybody was a teacher. And the only way to get in with a public school district was to basically know someone really high up or to substitute and kind of like earn your way in. And for me, I just couldn't see myself not know where I was going every day, not know my students, teaching somebody else's lesson plans. Like that just wasn't why I got into education. And
Yeah.
I got a job at a small preschool daycare. I was in the first room out of the infant room. So I had 12 one-year olds from
Oh my
7:30
God.
a.m. From 7:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. I had one assistant. And the rule was you had to change diapers a minimum of 4 set times a day. And then obviously anytime in between if the kids needed it, right? So that was a minimum of 48 diapers a day.
Whew.
And my class, just my class in the school, brought in my yearly salary in 2 months. So that's how little I was getting paid. And
Oh,
that's how expensive it was to send your children there. And so I wasn't making very much money. I wasn't able to get into a public school. I was in a preschool daycare. I went back to Westchester to get my elementary ed degree because I was only technically certified up until third grade. And moving back to Pennsylvania, a lot of the principals were giving me a hard time on the interviews that I went on, saying, it's great if I need you in kindergarten this year, but if I need you in fifth grade next year, you're not as flexible as somebody else. So I was teaching at the preschool daycare. I was waitressing and bartending to make extra money at the brand new Uno in Newtown Square at the time. I was at Westchester to get my elementary ed degree, and I was like, what is this life that I'm like not making any money? I thought I was going to love what I was doing and I don't. And there was a lunch shift that I had waitressing at Uno, and a table full of female realtors came in, and we were just talking life and what do you do and what do you do? And they were like, "What about real estate?" And I was like, "What about real estate? Like, what are you even talking about? Why would you even like pivot? What?" I was like, "I just went to school for 4 years. I've been in school an additional like 6 months already. I still have 6 months to go." They were like, "You can do it online or in person. It's like not that expensive. And then you can do whatever you want, whenever you want, make as much money as you want. And like, you've got a personality. Look into it." And I was like, maybe. So I went home that night, being the crazy energizer realtor that I am, and literally signed up for the career start package at Poli that night. It was $495.
yup.
And it was 2 classes. It was 2 months worth of classes while waitressing and bartending and teaching and still getting my elementary ed degree. Um,
How old
and
were you at the time?
so this was the spring of 2011.
Okay.
I graduated college in 2009. Forgive my terrible math skills right now. 22,
Oh,
23.
okay. Okay. Yeah.
Um, and so I took the classes, I passed the test, $495, got my license, joined Caldwell Banker Preferred in Wayne, and never looked back.
Like
Crazy.
I it's just so many things that you said there that like I said, grit. You
Mhm.
need a certain level of that, or because to just be able to do all those things and juggle all those things, I mean, and I love that real estate wasn't something that you even considered as a career, because I
No.
never even, like, I
Yeah.
didn't either. I didn't It's nothing that ever crossed my mind. And
No.
but I'm very similar in the fact that, like, as soon as somebody puts something in my head, and as soon as, like, I think, like, maybe that's cool and, like, I could do it, you just do it.
You
Like,
got
you
to do
just do
it.
it.
Yeah.
You can't. And that's what I think, that's so much of what makes you so successful too, because you just do things and you just get them done,
Just
and you
get
just
them done. Yeah. My
so
mom, like my parents always said, no matter what you want to be when you grow up, you're going to college first. So, like, you want to be a hairdresser? Great. You want to do whatever you want to do? Great. You want to like work on a pole? Great. However, you're going to get a college degree first because it's something that you can always fall back on. So, my biggest hesitation with hitting the like purchase button on the $495 Career Star package was like, I was very, very, very lucky in that I didn't graduate college with any debt, which is not very
aware.
common at all. Obviously, like I know how lucky I was. I thank my parents for it still to this day that they were able to do that for me. But I felt so bad knowing that they did that for me. And then I paid $495 and took classes for 2 months and never used the degree that like they got for me. However, it like makes me feel a little bit better that like they told me I didn't really have a choice anyway. So, like, even if I
Mhm.
wanted to get my real estate license, they would have made me go to college first. So it's
Yeah.
almost like,
And
I
I
did what they
feel like,
wanted me to do, and here it
and I
is.
mean, you can, and it's always something too, like, that's a good foundation. There's so much you could fall back
Mhm.
on if you ever need it, you know what I mean? And
Yep.
at the same time, it's not like, because at first when you said, they made you, like, they told you were going to college, I'm like, damn, like, how much debt did they make you get in? Like,
Right. Right.
but they also pay, you know what I mean? So I don't know. I think that's amazing. And I think that you still got started in real estate at such a young age, like,
Yeah.
that you have just really been able to make it your thing. I mean, what did you say, 14 years?
Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
So that first, all right, so you got started with Caldwell Banker. All
Mhm.
right, first of all, did you quit your other jobs right away? Were you still kind of juggling? Did
No.
you gain your footing?
I I gave up teaching. I stopped the teaching and I was waitressing and bartending while finishing real estate school, taking the test, and getting started in real estate. Because I knew, obviously, you don't get paid in real estate until you even close your first deal, not even when you get it under contract. So even if you get one under contract, soon after you get your license, you're still waiting at least another month or two to get paid, period. So I was waitressing and bartending. I was in the, like they called it, boot camp at Caldwell Banker Preferred. That was like the new agent training program. So I was in
Mhm.
that. I think it was 3 days a week, like Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 9 to 12. And then I would go into waitressing and bartending and like working on making calls and building my database and all that kind of stuff on, the days that I didn't have boot camp or the days that I wasn't waitressing and bartending. And just slowly started in that. Um and
So the
until I got
the
my first deal.
so the boot camp and the training, tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah.
Like, for
That was a
anybody thinking
lot.
about getting into real estate, like, was that part of why you chose Caldwell Banker at the time? Like,
That's a good question. So I was originally, obviously, when you sign up for real estate school, all the like local offices get your information. And so I got contacted by Century 21 in Havertown, and I met with the broker there. And he was like, when you get your license, bring it to me. I'll hang it up like you're hired. And I was like, I just got a job offer today. This is great. Like, I had no idea that I was supposed to be the one being picky about where I hung my license. So anybody getting their license today, I always make sure to tell them, like, make sure you're choosing your home, your office, your people, your training, your mentorship, your commission structure, because that was one thing that I didn't understand that I was supposed to kind of interview them for. So I was gonna go to Century 21 in Havertown. I like told him that I would be back once I got my license. And Corinne Heim was the broker at Caldwell Banker Preferred in Wayne at the time. And she was this, young 30s, gorgeous, like Model S. She's like an ex Eagles cheerleader. She had two
Mhm.
young kids. And I was like, I want to be her in, 7 to 10 years. So like I'm going to go where she is and hopefully I turn out like her. And
Right.
I always never like I never considered myself taking like the easy way out of anything in life. Like I always wanted to challenge myself and see if I could do it. So I felt like almost hanging my license in Havertown where I was born and raised was like the easy way. It's where I know a lot of people, it's right down the street. And I was like, let me go to Wayne, where like the high rollers live. I'm 22, 23 years old. I'm like, let me go to Wayne and try it and give myself a little bit, of a harder time maybe and
What a
bigger
concept.
bucks. Mhm.
What a concept. Because can I just pause you right there? Because
Yeah.
that is so key. Because so many people in anything that they do in life, they want to be where they're comfortable. They want to stick with what they know. And, or, I won't even say what's easiest, but what's comfortable and what's known. And just being able to start and be like, I'm going to go somewhere different and I'm going to do it a
Mhm.
little like that is just major. And I think that that's a huge part of the reason why you are the way you are and
Yeah.
you're so successful, because you have to get out of your comfort zone in order to grow, I personally think.
Yes.
So props to you for that.
Yeah, I mean, it was 20 minutes from home rather than like 4 minutes from home. But they did offer like a great boot camp.
Mhm.
And it was taught by Carol Turner, which I feel like I owe, some of my success at least to her because she was, a boot camp kind of instructor. Like she didn't take crap. She didn't care if you were scared to get on the phones. Like she would teach you for a certain amount of time and then you would all go back into these calling booths and make your calls. And if you got an appointment, you would ring a bell or you would, give yourself a tally mark or whatever, and they would celebrate everybody's wins. So it really, obviously in real estate school, you learn a lot, but you learn a lot that like, in regular school, you don't use necessarily every single day. You kind of need to be thrown into the fire and you need to have conversations and you need to be told no and you need to be told yes and you need to learn how to handle it and what to do in this life rather than like on this piece of paper. And I
Mhm.
feel like that really boosted my knowledge of how to be successful and the systems that you could or should have in place in your business to be successful. And then on top of the boot camp, they also gave you a mentor who took, a percentage of your first few commissions, but they were available to help you write the contracts and to do the negotiations and to teach you the ropes of hitting the ground running, which I think was amazing.
I hope that people that are listening to this that are considering getting into real estate or that are newer in the industry really really listen to that part of it, because I
Mhm.
feel we don't I hate to say this, but we don't need any more half naked real estate agents in
Yeah.
bikinis all
Yeah.
the time.
Yeah. Or they
Like,
think it's
looking
fun
so
and
cute, but like
glamorous and
it's not. I'm
it's
sorry, honey.
yeah. No, it's not always fun and glamorous. It's not always about the big paycheck. It's not always like it's hard and it's
You
hard
gotta get
work.
into it and you gotta learn the craft.
Mhm.
You
Mhm.
gotta and you got to spend, if you don't spend your first at least I think 6 months to a year hardcore in some kind of training, mentorship program, then you can just call yourself one of those statistics that doesn't make it,
Yeah,
in my opinion, because that's that, and then that's going to be why.
right.
um so how far into your when was your first settlement, like, and how far into your being licensed did it take you to get that first paycheck, and when did you know real estate? All right, this is it. Real estate's for me. I'm gonna kind of leave everything else
Right.
in the back.
So my first sale was, so I got in the spring of 2011. I want to say it was like April, May. It was like this time of year. And at that time, a lot of offices, I don't know if they still have them anymore, but it was called floor time or floor duty, where they
Mm-hmm.
basically put out a calendar every month and they had certain agents that were like responsible for answering the phones from, 9 to 12 and 12 to 3 and 3 to 6. So that's how Coldwell Banker did it. So you could kind of like give your availability if you wanted floor time, if you didn't want floor time. And if anybody called or walked in the office during those hours, it was like your leads. So I was on floor duty. It was an afternoon in, I want to say like June, July-ish. So I was in it for a couple months, and the sweetest older couple walked in and they were like, "We need to sell our house in Wayne." And I was like, "Who does that?" Like, who walks into like a real estate office, and says, "I need to
It
sell my
happens
house."
though.
It happens. And I was on floor duty. Like, I was literally the only one left in the office because it was a 3 to 6 time frame. So I was the only one there. And it was like, shit or get off the pot at that moment, like walk the walk and talk, like do whatever you had to do to tell these people that exactly what you're doing and you're going to sell their house in Wayne.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I had a script at that time of what I should ask sellers that I was meeting for listing presentations. So I kind of told them that I would print that out real quick and ask them a bunch of questions about their home and set an appointment so that I could go and see it. And I went and saw it and I got it professionally photographed and got it under contract. And at the time, it was a buyer's market. So it didn't sell overnight, but it did sell pretty quickly. And they then needed to purchase a condo. So we got them a condo in Old Forge Crossing. So those were my first two sales, I would say like late summer, early fall of 2011. And full circle moment, they just called me a few months ago to sell their condo because they were moving to North Carolina to be closer to family. And that was like a stop me in my tracks, like sit down and like tear up kind of a moment. Like
Yeah.
13 and a half years later,
Oh
this
my God.
couple called me back from my first ever sale and purchase in real estate. And like I had kept in touch with them, yearly, maybe every 6 months, checking in, wishing them a happy birthday, making sure they were doing okay. And they called me back and I just sold their condo and they moved to North Carolina. But the one thing that he said to me when he called me is that um, he asked me if I remembered the settlement gift that I gave them when they purchased their condo. And I'm like, oh, crap. Like I've given out signs, I've given out kitchen gadgets, I've given out like so much stuff. What did I give out for my
Yeah.
first deal ever? And they were like, it was a wreath. And he said, "Do you know what's still hanging on our door at our condo in Old Forge Crossing?" He said, "That wreath." He said,
Oh
"It's fallen
my God.
apart. The letters have fallen off of it. We've hot glued them back on. We've lost some of the flowers, but it's still on our door." So when I went to meet with them to list their condo for sale, you better believe I took a picture of that dang wreath that was still
Yeah.
hanging on their door 13 years later.
That's
Um,
a good thing.
and
Because,
yes.
I don't even know what the percentages. I like to kind of look things up, before episodes, but I wasn't thinking that we were going to even go this direction with it.
Oh, it's
But
low
it's
for
no,
like,
hold on. The percentage of people that would call their agent back
right.
is super
So
low. It's
low.
like
Yeah.
almost non-existent,
Yeah.
especially that much time later.
Right.
So let me point that out, number one. And why is that, Lori? Because you
Because
said
they
you what? You were
kept in
in touch
touch.
with them.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you were still top of mind.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
how were
I was
you in touch
still,
with them?
I would call, I would text. I had their email addresses still. So I'm pretty sure I had them set up on, Like I use HomeBot to like keep an eye on your home valuation. But really calling and texting, specifically birthdays. I do a really good job since I left the team of literally having any client that I've ever worked with's birthday on my calendar. So I try my best to not miss one any day. And I do a very personal, like singing of a happy birthday song with my little memoji. And I send usually like a $5 Starbucks or a Dunkin' Donuts gift card um, with it. So that I feel like goes a long way and people
Absolutely.
remember it. They feel special. And who knows who they're going to talk to that day that, oh my God, my realtor just reached out to me. You should call her. You never know.
Exactly. And that's exactly how it works.
Yep.
Um, so I want to hop around a little bit here. So you started as a solo agent
Mhm.
and then got on a team. When was
Yeah.
that? How long was
So
that?
formally joined the team in like the summer of 2013. So I got into the business spring of 2011. And after I started in boot camp, there were so many people that I met in my office and they were like, "You're just like Dave Batty. Have you ever met Dave Batty? Do you know Dave Batty?" I'm like, "Why does everybody want me to meet this guy, Dave Batty?" So I finally like knocked on his door in his office. He was always so busy. And he had one assistant at the time. And he had started in the business in like 2008, 2009. And he was kind of just getting to the point in his career where he was getting a little too busy for what he could handle. And he wanted to team up. Caldwell Banker would not let us at the time because it was kind of like recruiting from within and they weren't allowed to like lose out on all of my new money to join him. So we kind of unofficially worked together starting probably in like the fall of 2011 or the beginning of 2012. He would kind of like refer me and I would like give him a referral fee because they weren't letting us team up. They finally let us team up in the spring of 2013 and then we switched to Keller Williams in the fall of 2013. Um, at that point, like I didn't really care the company that I worked for. I've never been like a rah rah Caldwell Banker, rah rah Keller Williams, or whatever the company may be. I feel like the agent makes their business no matter what name is on their sign, no matter how many offices they have, or if it's a web office, like it doesn't matter. It's me that makes my business. It's you that makes your business. So when he presented me with the opportunity to come with him to a different office, I'm like, if you think that's a smart business decision for me and for you, let's go. Like, I don't care what color my sign is or what name is on it. So we did. And we were together from the like that point until August of 2023. So 10
10 years.
years. Hmm.
Wow. And you
Which is
guys
also unheard of in most cases.
amazing. Absolutely amazing. So, and I mean, I think that also like for you at that point as a new agent and has him being a newer but established agent, it had to have been
Yes.
a really good thing for you and your business and just
Yeah.
experience and everything
Exactly. I was able to
perspective.
learn from him. Yeah, I was able to learn from him. I was able to shadow him on like listing presentations and learn his scripts and just learn everything and like anything that I could from him. I was able to get leads, obviously, that I wouldn't have had. So not only business and money that I didn't have that I was able to make, but the knowledge and the learning behind it, the being able to bounce ideas off of him. The
Yeah.
team slowly grew. So we had other agents join us. We had, a new assistant or, operations manager. We had listing and marketing coordinator. We really like formed a family and a bond. And that's something that I will always be grateful for. Even though I left the team, we are still friends. Like we just got, brunch a couple weeks ago. We still bounce ideas off of each other. He asked me if I have a certain contractor in Delaware County. I asked him if he's got somebody out in his way. So, I'm
And
always of the
that's
belief
how it
never to
should
burn
be.
bridges.
Yeah. That's
And
how it should be. Because I mean,
mhm.
we're professionals and um I love that you guys can still have like, a friendship and everything like that.
Yeah, it was a
Um
very amicable. it was sad, of course. It was like
Well,
a
yeah.
divorce.
Yeah.
But it was just, I grew out of it, and that's okay. And, he wants and has always wanted nothing but the best for anybody on his team. And him and I definitely had like a very special bond and a relationship. And, I'm, like I said, I'm grateful for everything that we did together and everything that he taught me. And I definitely taught him things along the way as well. And I know that he's grateful for that. Um, so it was just kind of like, what I said to him when I left was like, I think it's time to spread my wings and do my own thing. And he was like very taken aback, but at the same time, like proud that, I was at that point and I had that confidence in myself and in my business
Yeah.
to do it.
Absolutely. I mean, you have to be. And it sounds like he is a great person.
Mhm.
Um, so your decision to leave and kind of spread your wings and kind of, because you've always, I feel like in a sense, you're always, you want to challenge yourself. I feel like
Mhm.
you always trying to progress and challenge yourself and do better and grow and see what else you can do. And that's what's exciting and about life and
Yeah.
this career in this industry is that you can. Um, so your decision to leave, I think, also has to do a whole lot with all of that. But what was that transition like for you? Were you
Yeah. So
scared? Were
I
you?
was terrified, to be honest. I mean, it had been years in conversations at nauseum with like my husband, with my best friends, with other people in the business, other agents that I looked up to and respected that had been on teams that had left teams. Like I made sure to meet with them before making any final decisions.
Mhm.
Um, I was never scared to fail. I have a lot of confidence in my grit, as you like to call it, that I'm not going to ever allow myself to like fall flat on my face. And God forbid I did. I knew that between my husband and myself and our savings and life, like we would be okay if I needed to kind of build back up. Um, but I did a good job of building up my own brand within the team before I left. And like kind of co-branding my logo with the team logo and like the Energizer Realtor was born, unknowingly, but I knew that if I ever left, I didn't want somebody to be like, who's this girl? Like Lori Rogers, like she was on a team. What team? I wanted to be able to, like, if I left, I kind of still at least felt like I had a name for myself. Um, and it took me a really long time because I'm also a people pleaser. And I knew that I helped make a lot of money for the team and we had full-time people and Dave has 3 kids and like so like a lot of people depended on the team's income and I contributed a lot to that income. And,
Right.
I felt very responsible for, God forbid he would have to let somebody go if I left, or, God forbid, something happened with his family. Like, would that be my fault? Or would that pressure or that weight be on me? And
Right.
I had to, so like, I feel like that is what took the most time for me to kind of process and release that, like, it had to be about me at that point,
Mhm.
and I couldn't stay to please everybody else or to make sure that everybody else was fed and paid and stable, and, like, it had to be, what about me and my kids and my family and my bank account and what I wanna do and the way that I want my business to go,
Mhm.
what I wanna focus on with my clients and where I wanna spend money, um, and that's when I finally, like, was able to be like, "Okay, this is where we got to go." For a while, I said that I felt like I was standing in the middle of an intersection and there were cars like coming
Yeah.
at me in all different directions. And I didn't even know which road to choose to go down to get out of the traffic.
Yeah.
And then it was
No.
almost like the traffic stopped, like it slowly like came to a stop and like I was left in the middle. And then I just needed to pick which road to go down. And, like, that was when it kinda got quiet, and I picked which road to go down, and now it's like the traffic's driving by me, and I'm waving to the cars, and the flowers are
Yeah.
blooming, and, like and it's all good. It's
Yeah,
all
no,
good.
I mean, witnessed the transition, obviously, like from a third party over here perspective, and it did just seem very natural and smooth and seamless. I know, I'm sure on the back end it was a little bit more chaotic, but you did it so it was graceful. Like, you're graceful and you don't even know
Yeah.
it half the time.
Yeah. Thank you.
But so I loved watching it all happen. What was that first year like, though? I mean, was
Um,
there did
it
things just
was
keep rolling?
Yeah, things just kept rolling. I mean, I reached out to, we like amicably separated, the database and whose was whose and, all that kind of stuff. And I reached out to the people that I could reach out to and my sphere and just said, like, this is where I'm going. That, still the same cell phone number, but a new email address. And if you ever need me, let me know. There have been clients that reached out that were originally like a team generated lead. And it was like, I left the team. So if you would like to work specifically with the team, like call the team directly. If you want to work specifically with me, like we can work together. So they really, honestly, luckily, fortunately, didn't skip a beat.
Yeah.
I had signs designed very quickly. I had new business cards designed very quickly. My office kind of took me under their wing and gave me a couple things as like a bonus to join and just kind of get me off the ground and running. So it wasn't very stressful. I didn't switch companies, so I didn't have to learn a lot of new systems. Like, I still use all my same systems that I always did use. It was just a matter of finding the right leverage to where I
Mhm.
felt like I didn't have to do everything on my own, but I didn't have to pay hundreds of thousands of dollars to get what I needed either.
Yeah.
And I found it.
I mean, team model versus a solo agent model, but being a busy solo agent and still
Yes.
like being used to certain leverage, like that's got to be kind of a bit of a shock.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the hard I mean, that was one of the hardest parts too, was thinking like, well, if I ever go on vacation, my team was there. Like, if I go on
Mhm.
vacation now, who do I call? And obviously, like, I have friends in the business and it doesn't, that's fine. And I've made it work and it does work. You just have to have people that you can trust
Mhm.
and, lean on them, and, clients also that trust you to know that if you're going away, they're under good control, and just make it work and keep going.
And I feel like as you continue to make these decisions for yourself and what feels good to you and what's going to help you, the universe or whatever you want to call it brings you what you need and what
For
you're worried
sure.
about. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So,
Yeah, I mean,
um,
we all have weeks. Yeah, we all have weeks that it's like, is the phone broken? Like, why hasn't anybody called me this week? Nobody wants to see a house, or like nobody wants to list their house in the next couple weeks. Oh crap. And then it's like bang, 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 bang. Everybody
yeah.
calls at the same time. So you just kind of roll with the punches. I like to say that, like, I take my slow days slow and I take my fast days fast, because when it's slow, you never know when it's going to be slow, and you never know if you're going to get another slow day in the future.
Mhm.
And if it's fast, you run with it and you take all you can get and keep on going.
Yeah, and you have to adapt. And I mean, I definitely have seen your wings blossom and grow. I
Mhm.
mean, you were just at another office, I think yesterday. What you're teaching classes
Teaching.
and you're helping other people and you're just being, a very amazing leader in the industry in
Yeah.
general, and I just love to see it. So like we had talked about a few minutes back, the glorious and the glamorous side of real estate, and a lot of real estate agents, and they get on and they're skimpy clothes and they're pretty and they're showing pretty houses. So in an industry where um there is a lot of fakeness, and it's
Hmm.
fake it, you got to fake it until you make it. That's what you're taught.
Yep.
How do you stay true to yourself, and how have you figured out your path to lead with authenticity in your business?
Yeah. So my goal is for people to already want to work with me before they've even met me in person, if that makes sense. So I want people to see me on social media, find my profile, look at my website, and feel my energy through the phone, through the computer, whatever it may be, however you're finding me, because I am 100% me. I have bad days. I have great days. You'll see if you look at my social media profile, there's some reels that I'm like full face of makeup, hair is pretty and curled, and I'm in a dress or a pretty top or whatever. And then you'll see me and I'm in a hoodie and, and my hair is on the top of my head or I have a filter on, like whatever it may be, because I just feel that being me is what attracts my clients. They know that I'm real. They know that I'm honest. They know that I'm going to communicate with them and they're not getting fake. Even if they don't I always say, even if you don't like what I have to say today, I would rather be 100% honest with you today than lie to you. And then in a week or two, after you've like fallen in love with me and I feel like I can be honest with you, then tell you the truth. Hell
Yes.
no. Hell no.
I talk to my clients the same way from day one all the way to day 67. I'm
Yep.
I'm telling them the straight truth. I'm never
Yep.
telling them, always, even like I've been on listing appointments where I've said like I'm not here to get the job. Like I'm here to do my job and
Yep.
to give you the truth and
Yeah.
um and honestly, being authentic like that and just being real has gotten me more business than it hasn't gotten me. If
Right.
so,
And like if you want to see a house 5 minutes after I've left the gym, I'll show it to you. But you better believe I'm showing up in leggings and a t-shirt and my face is going to be bright red and my hair is going to be on top of my head. Can I still
mhm,
sell you that house or walk you through that house the same way I could if I went home and showered and straightened my hair and put a suit on and heels and blah, blah, blah? Yeah, but you're going to be waiting hours to see it.
yeah.
And that's not me. Like I don't
And then
dress
you
up
might lose
every
out on the
day.
house because these days houses are selling within hours. So the
Right.
time that it might take me to get dressed for real, it
Right.
might sell. Like,
Like I don't dress up every day. I don't do my makeup every day. And a lot of people ask me all the time about my social media, specifically if I have a schedule or if I have a plan or blah blah blah. And it's like, I don't. I will make a reel if I come across one and I'm like, oh, that could be cute. And I have a couple extra minutes, or I think of an idea and I store it as a real idea in my phone and I come back to it. But like I just do what I feel in that moment. And
yeah.
if it's funny, if it's serious, if it's a story, if it's a success, if it's a win, if it's a hard day, whatever it may be, I make it into something that I feel like somebody anywhere could relate to. Rather than just like the glitz and the glamour and the pretty houses and the, sold, sold, sold.
I think that is obviously a huge part of the reason why I was so drawn to you. Because I'm the same way. I very much so am the same way. And I recently hired social media management
Okay.
in the past year. So mostly for our group's Instagram, mostly because I have a small little team now, and mostly because I want to keep the consistency in a
Yes.
way, and I don't want to feel the pressure of having to post when I don't feel
Yes.
like it. So that in a way, but and also because I did notice that I'm very you can go onto my page and tell what mood I'm in that week, or tell what
Mhm.
I'm going through that week,
Right.
or you know what I mean. So like, and I got to the point where it was like, all right, like maybe I'm a little too up and down. Like
Sure.
maybe I post along with my mood and my emotion and what's going on in my life or my day a little too much, and I don't want to, but that has attracted the clients that I want to work with and the people
Yeah.
that I want to help.
That's
Because when they
huge.
do message me or they call me or they text me, we're already talking like we're friends. Like they already
Right.
feel like they can tell me exactly what their position is. They don't have to be embarrassed. You know
Yep.
what I mean? Like they don't have to feel like they're going to get judged because they saw me acting crazy yesterday.
Yeah, for
Talking crazy
sure.
yesterday too. But they also see me getting shit done and
Yep.
helping people and loving it and
Mhm.
really doing it with my whole heart.
Yep.
And the people that can appreciate that are the people that I want to work with, and those are the people that end up
Exactly.
being the clients. You know what? Yeah, I have to bring my freaking kid, and I might be 5 minutes late for the appointment, but I'm coming. I'm going to show you the house.
Right.
We're
Right.
gonna get it, and we're gonna do this like we're friends, and and we're gonna have a
Yep.
good time. And those are the clients that I enjoy working with. And
Exactly. If you
I
can't be
think that,
yourself and you have to put on a fake front or act like somebody that you're not, then you're probably not for me.
yeah,
Like I don't
yeah.
want to
And I
work
mean,
with you then if I have to show
also
up.
from a consumer perspective too, like, right? Like before I even knew real estate was going to be what I did, or if I was looking for a real, I just happened to get lucky with my real estate agent. But if I was looking, social media is very prevalent. Is that the word today? I don't
Yeah.
know.
Mhm.
Um, is that prominent, whatever, that's what people use today. So like if it was today and I wasn't in real estate and I was looking for, and I came across somebody's page, do I want to go on and see them, just houses,
Right.
and just listed, and see them looking, you know perfect all the
Perfect all the
time,
time. Right.
and or maybe here and there, do I want to see something relatable? You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So something that I feel like I can actually talk to them openly. So that's how I think about it too. So
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
I said, that's the things that definitely drew me to you,
Yeah.
and I can appreciate it. So, let me think here. One of the main things that I know you have done to build your business is really work your sphere, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Database,
I
sphere.
mean, social media, I think, is what I can attribute a lot of my business to at this point. Um, Staying active on it, but not only about me. So, like, I pride myself in being a connector of all things. So I'm in obviously a bunch of different Facebook groups, as we all are. So if somebody asks for a painter, if somebody asks for a plumber, if somebody asks for a landscaper, a therapist, a hardwood floor guy, like whatever it may be, I'm always trying to contribute to connect people and to grow other people's worlds and relationships and make their life easier.
Yeah,
So I feel like on social media, I do that in a way that people see me posting and commenting and helping people so that when they need me as a realtor, they know that I'm already that like helper, connector person. I always say that I hate I hate seeing the posts that are I need a great realtor in blah 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 town and there's
so
432 comments in 36 seconds and I will never, ever, ever comment and say me ever. Like, fine for the people that do, but I will never self nominate. However, I've built such a great business and so many friends out of my clients that I have so many, I call them like my cheerleaders out there that will tag me and I'll
yeah,
respond to those tags. Yeah, and I'll respond to those tags, thank you so much. Sam, it was so great working with you. Original poster, here's my website. Period. I know that there's agents out there who believe like I'm going to send them a friend request and I'm going to DM them and I'm going to get in their ear and public records them and send them a card and like do all the crazy stalking. And I'm just like, no, like I will respond to a comment. Great. But I get so much business from people sending me private messages that say like, I wasn't the original poster, but I saw your name mentioned 5 or 6 times on that post in Mainline Parent Community or in Havertown Moms. Are you taking on new clients? That's like my
but there's
favorite message to receive.
yes, of course I am.
Right.
That's the thing though about leading with authenticity and being true to yourself
Mhm.
is, um eh, wait, I just totally lost my train of thought because I was like so involved in listening to
'Cause
what
it's
you were
not
saying.
about me. Like, I'm helping everybody else. I'm
Yeah,
helping everybody
exactly,
else, and
exactly,
then
and
people in turn are
oh, that's what I was
attracted.
gonna say, and then exactly. So I don't wanna, but a lot of my business comes to me.
Right.
When I was building my business and I had a baby and I was a new mom, I had no choice but to utilize social media and but to
Mhm.
try to be everywhere I could without actually being anywhere
Being
else but
there.
my
Yep.
my baby, right? So, like, I had
1,000%.
to figure out how to get myself out there without being able to actually be out there, and how to build those relationships authentically through
Yes.
social media. I had to figure it out, and I'm thankful that I did because, yes, they come to me. They
Right.
call me. They DM me.
Right.
And those those are the best messages to receive because they saw me being tagged or they see me doing this, or you know what I mean?
Yep.
I don't have to try to sell myself.
Right.
I don't have to shout it from the rooftop. Like, and
Right.
I love that about my business, and I love that that's how I built my business.
Yeah.
I think it's the best way to do it.
Yeah.
It feels the
It
speaking of
does.
which, growing, so one of my goals for this year was like I wanted to grow, but I'm like, how the heck do I grow without like doing more things? I wanted to figure out how to grow my business genuinely, like
Mm-hmm.
organic. And I'm like, I just need to do more things that I want to do and just lean into the things I like to do. And I have to
Yeah.
do like sports with my kids and stuff. So, when I got my new shirts or whatever, I don't know if you can see I got my new shirts.
Yes.
I'm gonna be wearing them to baseball. It says I'm your homegirl on the back.
Yep.
Because again, like you have built your own brand, something people can recognize you for,
Yep.
and it just naturally happens. Because
Mm-hmm.
you're doing what you should, right? And I feel like that same thing has happened with me in my business. And I want to feel like your homegirl. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? So like, and that's kind of where it originated. But and so anyway, I joined a nonprofit organization, and you were kind of like a big
Yes.
inspiration for me with that because
Yes.
you are part of a nonprofit organization, right? So can you
Yeah.
tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah. So, a girl that I graduated high school with, I now consider her one of my best friends. We went to high school together, but she was a year or two younger than me. Um, and we were in cheerleading together, but we weren't necessarily like friends in high school. And she started a nonprofit in February of 2022. Her mom had breast cancer for the second time, needed a mastectomy. And the nonprofit is called Pockets of Hope. And so she started it for her mom, who is doing well, by the way. And what we do is we sew pockets onto the inside of zip up sweatshirts. And these pockets on the inside hold the tubes and the drainage bulbs that are needed when women are recovering from their mastectomies from breast cancer. Some women have these drains or bulbs, in them for a week to 10 days, sometimes 2 weeks, 3 weeks. Sometimes they have to get them taken out and then put back in if they have reconstructive surgery so they can reuse this hoodie. Because if not, these drains, they're like sewn into your skin if you don't know much about it, and they
Yeah,
kind of just hang. So it's uncomfortable to get out of bed, to play with your kids, to go to the grocery store, to take a walk, even. So these pockets on the inside give you somewhere to store them, be able to zip it up, and like nobody knows what's going on underneath. And it makes you feel more comfortable and maybe a little bit more put together and beautiful in a time where you're not really feeling it. So she actually started it February of 2022, kind of as like, maybe I'll make 5 or 6 hoodies a month and donate them locally. We've
yeah.
since sent close to 14,500 hoodies in just over 3 years.
I'm gonna cry.
It's huge. It is
It
literally
literally brought a tear to my eye.
literally all 50
Great.
states, Ireland, Africa, Australia, like literally everywhere across overseas. We actually just made our first like big purchase order from overseas that's sending us 2,000 hoodies that'll have our logo in them rather than buying them from Hanes. Um,
Aw,
so we are just booming, and everybody unfortunately knows somebody who has dealt with cancer. And I
yeah,
want to say probably 75% of those people know somebody that was specifically affected by breast cancer. So it's a very unfortunately prominent thing. And it is also a connector of people. And, I include that I'm such a big part of it with her in my buyer's guide, in my seller's guide, in my social media, because it means a lot to me. And my
yeah.
mom also had breast cancer. My aunt passed away from breast cancer. I get breast MRIs every 6 months, to get a little bit personal. Like, it's just, it's big. And, I'm
It's kind of
proud.
crazy that something like that has not like wasn't already a thing.
They're out there, however, they are expensive. Like people sell them on Etsy. There's companies that make
Oh,
them.
really?
They're $70, $80. That's how Caitlin got the idea. Somebody bought one for her mom. And when it was in the wash, her mom was like, I need another one. so that when that one's in the wash, I have another one. And Caitlin was like, well, if I order you another one, it's not going to be here on time. But like, I have a sewing machine, so let me try to make you one. And that's kind of how Pockets of Hope was born. She kind of
Oh
figured
my
nobody should have to pay for this thing to keep them
yeah.
comfortable at like the worst time in their life. So we're
Wow.
100% nonprofit. We had a parent company be our like nonprofit sponsor for the last couple years, but we actually are in the process of becoming our own nonprofit to
What a
be,
beautiful, amazing,
100%.
amazing thing. I love
Yeah.
it.
I started
It's
originally just as like a little bit of help here and there as a way to like feel busy because like I said I have really trouble sitting still and doing nothing. So I was starting to just like help her with little things, and then it was slowly like, "Well, why don't you just try sewing this? And why don't you try sewing the pockets into the hoodies? And
yeah.
why don't I get you a shipping label maker? And why don't I give you some packages?"
You
And
should
now
get
it's
into it.
yeah, and now it's literally it's me, her, Caitlin Deviney out of Springfield, Delaware County, and then Kirsten Lopez. She lives in Newtown Square. We're like the Three Musketeers. We have volunteer events once a month where a bunch of women get together. They bring their sewing machines to a church and sew for us. We have girls come and write notes on the back of our cards. There's like just so much that can go into it that like really fills your heart with happiness after every event that we have. So it's cool.
That-
And I see you starting to like brighten up whenever you talk about, the Child's Light, like the one that you are a part of now. Because it just
Yeah,
gives you a
well,
new sense of purpose.
exactly. And like I said, you really were such a big like inspiration for me to try to get involved in something that meant something to me.
Mm-hmm.
Um so a Child's Light is a nonprofit organization that I kind of just like stumbled upon. I was looking to donate some coats, some winter coats, and I found this lady that was collecting them and donating them in her daughter's name. And then I looked a little bit further, and she had this organization called a Child's Light. And so basically, what they do is they fund expedited mental health services for children between the ages 2 to 18 who have experienced some kind of trauma or sexual or physical abuse, and they need therapy. And
Right.
therapy, obviously, as you know, I mean, even for an adult, especially for a child, is really hard to get into. It's
Mm-hmm.
expensive, and it's just not easily obtainable for most people.
No.
They are just doing amazing, amazing work, because I mean, these children, they're our future. And if we don't figure out how to help these kids that are going through so much, especially even since COVID, the rise in the sexual and physical abuse cases is just through the roof.
Right.
Um, so I mean, they're just doing really amazing work, and it does give you. I just started out by just helping sharing some posts and stuff, and like then doing more research, and I'm like, I want to do more. Like I want to do
Mm-hmm.
more. Like I want
Right.
to meet more, more of these people that are doing such amazing work. I want to be a part of it. And then so it just naturally progressed. And like you
Yeah.
said, it does give you some purpose, but at the same time I'm meeting new people. And
Mm-hmm.
hopefully eventually I'll find somebody to help. But
Right.
but in the meanwhile, I'm helping in all these ways that are filling my heart. So
Right. And
um
it helps our kids see too that it's not just about like the work and the paycheck and the, paying
exactly.
the bills. It's about helping other people and, bringing a sense of community, and, that those kind of feelings are important. So like while I'm sewing a hoodie at my sewing machine, my daughter will be writing writing a note of positivity on the back of one of our Pockets of Hope cards. So like we're doing it together, and she likes to come to our volunteer events, and she knows, my mom makes hoodies for breast cancer, so it's like it's just a new way for them to see us and us to
Yeah.
put on a good, be a good role model as well too.
Which is such this is I love you. I'm so mad that we
It
so
took us
mad
this
that we
long
were
to be
so
that
I'm
close of
not
friends.
mad that we were busy today, but like we were supposed to be in person and I was gonna be able to hug you and
I
squeeze you.
know.
But no, that's such a good perspective, because yeah, I'm like, I want to show my kids the hustler side of things, and that I can
Yep.
work and make money and provide, but being able to show them that other softer side of things, and like that balance, and
Yes.
giving to the community and stuff is so important.
Yes. Like,
So
yes, I am giving, 4 hours of my Saturday once a month to this organization, and it is not making me any money, but it's filling my heart with more money
yes,
than matters.
exactly.
So it's so important for them to see that in us, for
Yes,
sure.
I agree. I agree.
Yes.
All right. Well, we are going on an hour, man. We could sit
I
here for 3
know.
hours, and I
We
am
could.
ready to cry. I am ready to grab some wine.
I know.
Um,
I
so
know.
let me figure out what should we close it out with today. So, well, first of all, I guess if you could give your younger self one piece of advice about whether it be business or life or
Yeah.
school, whatever,
Yeah.
um, what would that be? Your younger pre finding out what real estate was self, I guess.
I think it would probably be all encompassed by like trust yourself. Trust yourself over anybody, over anything, over any naysayer. Not, it doesn't even matter what your cheerleaders think. Like, it doesn't even matter what the people in your corner are telling you. You have to be the one to believe in yourself, to trust yourself in anything that you do or try or whatever it may be. Because if I didn't if I didn't go to college, who knows where I would be? If I didn't waitress that day, who knows where I would be? If I didn't give up teaching and totally just like take a chance on myself with $495, who knows? If I didn't meet Dave Batty that day, if I didn't join the team, if I didn't choose to leave the team, like whatever it may be in anything in your life, you have to trust yourself first. And you have to have the confidence in yourself, which obviously I don't wake up every day thinking I'm perfect or thinking that I'm confident and I'm going to conquer it all. I have bad days too. But I know at the end of the day, nobody's coming to save me. And I have to be the one responsible for me and take accountability, make decisions that are going to work the best for me and my family and my future, my business, my clients, my friends, my house, like anything. It's going to come all back down to trusting me. And I think
I
that
love
that
it. I
that
love
kind
it.
of
Mic drop.
puts it
Mic
into a
drop.
ball. Mic drop.
Yep.
Trust yourself.
And I'm thinking as you're saying all this, like how lucky your children are.
Oh,
How lucky they are that you get to pour all that into them. And they're just, I just
I
love
try.
it. I love
I
every single
try.
bit of it.
I
Seriously.
try. I try. I'm not
Right.
the perfect
Where,
mom. I will be the first to admit it. We all struggle. I've definitely made mistakes along the way, and
yes.
I've won the award at, Mother's Day tea of my mom is the best at working on her computer was my son's pre-K4 Mother's Day tea, which I will never let myself live down. Um, but, part of me is like, you know what? He's right. Like, part of me is like, I'm gonna own that, and I am really great at what I do. And part of me is like, but I should pay more attention to my kids sometimes. So there has to be a balance. And again, it just
Yes.
comes back to trusting yourself. And there's going to be good days and bad days. And there's going to be better days of balance. And there's going to be total days of imbalance. And you just have to know when to let it be imbalanced,
Mhm.
honestly, and then how you're going to be able to, level the seesaw back out.
Lori Rogers, people, you heard it. You heard it here. So our listeners, if they want to, because they're going to want to follow you and they're going to want to fall in love with you,
Yeah,
just like you did, where can people find you?
sure.
And
So
also give us a little bit of more about where we can find and help out with Pockets of Hope.
Sure. So, on Instagram, my handle on Instagram is Lori Rogers. There's no D in Rogers. My husband says D is for dummies. So it's just LORIROGERS _ and I'm Lori Rogers on Facebook. There are a few of us, but, you'll find me. And, Pockets of Hope is just pocketsofhope.com.
Okay.
I think there might be like a .org, which is different, but Pockets of Hope, you'll see it's like this is what nobody will see our logo because it's not a video. I have the t-shirt on today. But it's Pockets of Hope, and we take donations. We do stuff, we call Fridays $5 Fridays. You can Venmo us $5. $5
Yes.
generally covers the shipping cost of one of our hoodies. We have volunteer events once a month. So you can also find us on Facebook and Instagram, Pockets of Hope, if you want to donate or if you want to be a part of one of our volunteer events. Obviously, you can go through Sam and Sam will find me too. So whatever
Yes. I
anybody wants to do to
know where to
connect.
find you.
Yes.
Right. Well, thank you so much
Yes,
for your time
ma'am.
today. You've
Thank
got lots of
you.
stuff to do, so I don't want to keep you too long.
All
I will
good.
be seeing you in a couple weeks, though.
Yes. Yes,
So I will
ma'am.
talk to you then.
All
All right.
right.
Thank
Thank
you,
you,
Lori.
girl. See ya.
Bye.
Thank you for tuning in to this episode of Real Talk Realtor Mama Edition. I hope you found a little inspiration, some fresh ideas, and maybe even had a few laughs along the way. If today's episode resonated with you at all, please subscribe, leave a review, and feel free to share it with someone who might need a little real talk in their life. Follow me on social media. My handle is the same everywhere at Realtor Mama. It's MAMA. Remember, we're all in this together, learning, growing, and finding our way one day at a time. Until next time, keep showing up, keep being real, and keep chasing your dreams. This is Samantha signing off with gratitude and love. See you next time on Real Talk Realtor Mama Edition.